Howdy out there, everyone. I'm just going to take a quick look at The Hidden and bring it to my viewers' attention if they've not seen it, or if they have. It's certainly a film that I think holds up quite well upon revisiting here in 2022. What's interesting about the movie is it almost feels like it certainly captures the same feeling that Terminator did with regards to downtown LA. It looks very similar, in fact, to Terminator, the 1984 film. This, of course, came out 3 years later in 1987 and features Kyle MacLachlan playing a young FBI agent who I have no doubt this part was what ultimately got him the role in Twin Peaks, because he seems to be playing a slightly more subdued and stranger, if that's possible, version of Dale Cooper. I think he's terrific in this film, and I of course am a huge fan of his work on Twin Peaks, but it's just an interesting observation that obviously is staring in the face of anyone who's watched enough movies. But suffice to say, I think that he is great in this film, as are a couple of other supporting character actors who were either in Blue Velvet or later went on to star in Twin Peaks. So there's several actors in this film that are sort of in the David Lynch orbit. And I think aesthetically it has that look about it as well. But what I find really interesting about the movie is essentially it's the Terminator meets The Thing, with a little bit of, cop procedural thrown in. And honestly, I think the film works terrific. It's paced exceptionally well. It moves right along. It's interesting. You're sort of kept guessing. I mean, yes, the plot is at least a little bit predictable, but I think on balance, how they execute the plot is really good, really well done, and effective. And I think this is a great example of the sort of 80s Grindhouse aesthetic that was rarely the product of something really good. But I think in this case, I would argue that The First Power with Lou Diamond Phillips is another one that I think is quite entertaining. What they have in common are typically great in-camera stunt work and practical effects. I don't think there's much, maybe a little bit of CGI when the agent fires this kind of ray gun that he uses. But apart from that, all of the stunts, the chase sequences, they all are in camera and practical and extremely well executed. I love this film. Now, of course, this is a standard def DVD that includes the sequel, The Hidden 2, which is just a cinematic abomination. I really wish they had I certainly like to ignore the sequel because I feel like the first film is just so good, and the second one is not at all. So I think if I can find a Blu-ray copy out there somewhere of The Hidden, I'm sure to snatch it up. But in the meantime, this disc looks fine. It looks very within the keeping of this sort of Grindhouse VHS feel that it had. And again, I think it just features some terrific performances. The cop who plays opposite Kyle MacLachlan, I believe his name is Norrie. His last name is Michael Norrie, I think. He's really good in it as well. I mean, I think just on balance, the thing that I think struck me most when I first saw it in theaters, and then of course upon revisiting, is just how everyone just does their job. There's not any really bad acting at all, and I think the visuals are on point. The pacing is great. It's an interesting story, and it's just perfectly executed for the type of film that it is. So on that note, I'll just leave it at that. I hope everyone out there as well, if you've not taken a look at The Hidden, 1987, especially if you are fancy yourself as a David Lynch fan, I think you'll rather enjoy this movie. And even if you're not, but let's say you like Terminator, it's certainly, again, one of those films that is just damn entertaining. Take care.